Good evening. Welcome to World News Tonight. I'm Jonathan Ford. Earlier today, I had a chance to sit down with the Vice President Carlos Dupont. We discussed a variety of topics, including his opposition, the campaign, and several of his planned policies. We'll show you that one now.
Perfect.
All right, so nice of you to come by and do this interview. Appreciate it.
No problem. Happy to always be here.
All right, great. So you've secured the presumptive nomination fairly quickly. On the Republican side, their primary is still well and truly underway. So what is your opinion on the two candidates still running? And is there someone out of the two that you'd rather face?
Well, listen. First of all, thank you for having me again. The ticket really comes down to someone who's been running for office their whole entire career and has not made a name for themselves. And then there's another candidate who has had his chance and he blew it. It's really sad that America has to come to this. People have not seen that the Roberts family is full of failures. They are full of failures time and time again. I've worked under the Roberts administration, and I actually believed in the Roberts administration. But after what really sealed the deal for me was when Mr. Roberts asked me to help him write a State of the Union speech 20 minutes prior to the State of the Union address. So I think that we have two candidates who just need to give it up. The Republican Party, they're losing people to really help them in this election. And that's one of the key things that they're facing right now.
Right, okay. And so is there any of the two, specifically, that you would rather face, whether that's good for you in the general election or, whether it's more about morals or that sort of thing?
Well, I think that one of the candidates I would rather face is, I feel like Mr. Rockefeller would be way more competent than Mr. Roberts. Only because Mr. Rockefeller, if people actually sit down and listen to what he has to say, some of the things that he says are actually, they're kind of good. People just don't give him the chance. I think it's possibly because they probably don't like him. That could play a factor into that. But I certainly think that I would rather face, or the more competent out of the two, you could say, would be Mr. Rockefeller. Because he actually, if given the chance, I feel like he would do well.
So your current polling numbers, according to the Independent, I believe, is showing you up 60% to 40% over Jim Roberts. So if that were to be the nomination, then you would be in a really good standing come the general election. And I believe it's a bit lower against Rockefeller, but still relatively high.
I think that people need to realize that we need to stop electing people who do nothing in positions. Mr. Roberts has done nothing as a senator. He has attended only one session out of the entire Congress, and he has proposed 0 pieces of legislation. When I was a senator, we passed a comprehensive tax reform to help the middle class, relieve the middle class from paying too much in taxes. Because when our middle class is paying all that money in taxes, what does that say about us? We're not building back into our middle class. And quite frankly, the Republican Party, they want to keep building back into our wealthy and rich people, but that's not the ones who are working hard. That's not the everyday Americans, the teachers, the firefighters, the working class unions, the car industry, engineers, all those people. That's not who deserve. That's the people who deserve the tax breaks, not the people who own these Fortune 500, companies with billions of dollars, trillions of dollars.
So moving on, you've been in the White House for quite some time as vice president, obviously, and you don't want to shy away from your experiences there, but you obviously want to market yourself to voters as a fresh face. So what have you been doing to reinvigorate your base and the many undecided voters who are looking for something new?
Well, I think it certainly stems down to finishing the job what President Wallace has started. And I really thank President Wallace for all the work that he has done. Under our administration, we've did a lot. We've lowered costs. We've aimed with healthcare, immigration reform, all these things, all these major bills that have been proposed, and some even signed into law under the Wallace Dupont administration. But the work doesn't stop there. We still have drug prescriptions to tackle. We still have a housing crisis to tackle. There should be no reason why the housing market is so unaffordable for American people. Everyone deserves a chance to live, and that's just that. Everyone does not deserve to live on the streets. So we need to really crack down on affordable housing. We need to create more jobs, create new jobs. That's why we need to invest in our clean energy, renewable resources. That's why we need to invest in engineering jobs, because that is what is going to be the backbone of this country.
Right, and that sort of ties into the next thing. So when it comes to policy, the economy is always and will always be, a major concern for voters. So what are the economic policies of the campaign so far?
So one of the things that I think is really important right now that people, don't realize is that there are a bunch of people who say that they really aren't understanding what's going on. Why is gas prices so high? Why is my grocery prices so high? Why are all these things so high? And it primarily stems from the fact that there's these big corporations, that they take advantage of these economic disparities and they raise prices on these foods and goods. And we need to really crack down upon that, because there's no reason why you should be taking advantage of something that is out of control, that is affecting our economy. And that is why that's when supply and demand comes about, because when prices start going up, people are starting to buy more and more before the prices, of that good go up even more. And that's what we're seeing. So one of my major plans to tackle, if I am elected, is to put a ban on price gouging for foods and goods.
Right, okay. And so on a broader scale, what is the policy that you will, this sort of just general policy that you will be trying to achieve day one of the presidency?
Day one, definitely we need to work on our military. Our military is the backbone of this country. So we need to really invest in our military, and that's why I've been cooperating with the development team in creating a Pentagon and a functioning District of Columbia. That way we can really start growing our military up and really start showing a presence and possibly getting into a United Nations, because we can't get into a United Nations if our military isn't at a strong point.
All right. Well, those are all the questions I have for you, so thank you for coming out here and doing this.
No problem. Thank you so much.
Thank you for tuning in to World News Tonight. We will now send you over to ABC News Live Prime with Lindsay Davis in Washington. From everyone here in the New York studio, good night.